Hi, it's Jennifer with Grateful Mom, and today I want to talk about why I started to homeschool, particularly because I started late in the game with my youngest two being in ninth and 10th grade. I do have a 21-year-old who's about to graduate college, and I did not homeschool her, although looking back, hindsight, I wish I had homeschooled all of my kids from the very beginning. But I didn't have, at the time, didn't think that I could financially swing things, various reasons. So I guess to start, just to put this out front, we've been through some difficult times the last few years, as most of us have. But I am going to be talking about some of those things, not in great detail, but just to kind of let you know where I came from, and to just provide hope for anybody who's going through difficult times and trying to homeschool at the same time, and so you know where I'm coming from. So about 20 years ago, my husband and I were both working. I was in corporate communications, and he was working for an oil and gas company as an electronics technician. And we wanted to buy a house, and so we were saving money for a down payment on a house. We had a lot of credit card and student loan debt that we were trying to pay off. And somewhere, I don't know, I forget what year it was, but we found the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University plan. And we went through the program and got on fire to get debt free and pay off our house and well, buy a house and then pay it off. And so we started on that plan. And we were very aggressive. We had all the wrong thinking about money. We hadn't been investing in 401k. We had no savings. We were just living life. In 2008, our middle child was born. And when I was home on maternity leave, I started thinking, I really am just dreading leaving this baby with daycare to go back to work. And I had always wanted to teach, so I was starting to think about doing that. And so, I started taking some classes at the same time. After I went back to work, I started taking some classes online to try to start fulfilling my degree requirements. And then I got pregnant again, and our youngest was born in 2009. And then at that point, I wasn't quite ready. I didn't have enough credits to graduate yet, but I just was really intent on becoming a teacher at that point. So I just wanted it to happen as soon as possible. So along with our bills and everything else we were paying for school, I did get some grants and scholarships. But so fast forward a few years, I graduated in December 2013 with my teaching degree, and I started working in January 2014. And that was great because then I had holidays off and summers off with the kids. But I still, in the back of my mind, I had started watching these family videos of large families in particular who were homeschooling and homesteading, and I just loved that idea. And at the time, also, I was starting to grow in my faith, and just kept feeling like this was something that I really wanted to do, and we just couldn't figure out financially how to do it. So as I continued to think about it and we prayed about it, we got to about the year of 2019, the end of 2019. My oldest was going into her senior year of high school, and my husband was diagnosed with an illness. And then in 2020, COVID happened, of course, and so the world kind of shut down. And so we were essentially homeschooling anyway. I was schooling from home, my kids at school, and also they were going to school, but I was also kind of doing some stuff with them on the side. And so that period of time, even though COVID was, a little bit scary and weird, was actually a good thing, because as my husband's illness progressed, we were at least able to, be home for a good part of time and spend that time together. 2021, September 2021, my husband passed away. And then a few months later in December, my stepdad passed away. My stepdad, who had been like my second dad for 30 or more years. And so that kind of started for us a really extra rough period, of course. And I took about 8 weeks off after my husband's passing, and then I went back to my teaching job and kind of pushed through that first year. And then the second year was almost harder, I think, for me. I think that whole first year, I just tried to keep things normal for my girls and keep them in their routines and, just have them stay in school and just have friends and have connections. And, it was hard for all of us. And so, so that second year in 2022, November 2022, things fell apart a little bit in the mental health arena in our family. So we were really struggling, and that's when I got some counseling for our family. And so we would go together, and then some of the girls would go by themselves, and that helped for a little while. In December 2022, I decided that just a month later, after the counseling and after all those kind of struggles, I decided to take the girls to visit my in-laws. So my father-in-law lived in Las Vegas, and my mother-in-law and her husband lived out in Seattle. So we went to Las Vegas and saw my father-in-law. Then we got on a train and took the Coast Starlight train, which I actually did a video on. I posted it. It was a really, really great trip, beautiful trip. And so we went up to Seattle from California to see her, but to see my mother-in-law and her husband. But there was a big snowstorm that hit the night that we got there into Seattle. And so they live out on the islands. And so all the ferries were shut down. I mean, we didn't get to see them, unfortunately, at that time. So we came back from that train trip. And then in the spring of 2023, my dad started kind of cognitively declining, and we discovered he had mild to moderate dementia and heart disease. And so that started, just a more challenging time for him, and he was going to need more and more care. And so then in March and April and May of last year, that same time period, my middle daughter started getting bullied at school, and not only by a student, but by a teacher at school. And I had various meetings with the headmistress at the time. The teacher did not want to meet with us, even in front of the counselor or anything like that. So I was kind of at an impasse of if this is going to be the future at this school for both my girls, I don't want this to be happening. So, a teacher that's not willing to talk, and obviously I felt like, she was admitting her wrong. So I just decided, with all of the struggles of grief and trying to just keep going and taking care of my dad, and then having this issue happen at school. And it was just, my daughter lost 15 pounds in a few weeks. She was just totally up, crying and not wanting to go to school every day, just completely distraught. So I just thought, this is it. This is God telling me, you need to focus on your family, and you need to bring the girls home and just regroup. And so that's what I did. We did that, and we started this past fall. July of last year as well. After I had made that decision, but we were on summer break, my father-in-law passed. He had struggled with Parkinson's for many years. And then just this past January, my father passed. And so it's because we were homeschooling, taking care of my dad was really important to me. And so that became to be more, it was once a week. And then it became twice a week. And then it was, I needed to be up there, for sure every other day. I couldn't have done that without the flexibility of being home. And so while I think our homeschool academically, it put us in a crunch because we were kind of, having to not redo things, but catch up on things a lot. And we're still kind of catching up from all that. I was able to take care of my dad with no problem. I could just drop and go, and then the girls could come with me on some occasion, and they can work from anywhere. And We could, like I said, we could make up things on Saturdays or at night, and we still do that. We're still doing that. So, yeah, so that's where we are. We're here now, sort of just coming through this wave of really sad things happening, but also trusting more and more and more in the Lord, and just knowing that we none of us know how long we have, and we just have to live for Him with every minute, every moment, every breath that we have, and trust that everything is going to be okay. It may not be our plan of what we want, but He has a plan. And I was in this situation because I trusted the nagging voice in my head, which was the Spirit telling me, this is what you need to do. So here's where we are. To end this video, I just wanted to, my aunt gave me this book called God's Promises back in 1986 as a high school graduation gift. And I use it a lot. I like the way it's laid out because it has different chapters for what what to do when you are experiencing fear, what to do in different situations, what the Bible says about widows, for example, grief. So in my grief, I'm just gonna read some verses in here that helped me and still help me during these periods. So Psalm 147 verse 3, He healeth the broken in heart and bindeth up their wounds. Another one is, fear thou not, for I am with thee. I'm sorry, this is Isaiah 41:10. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Immediately after losing my husband, this verse was was one that I just held on to. Revelation 21:4. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And then a verse that I use now, I lean on myself, and now I'm 2 years, almost 2.5 years past the point of losing my husband. I have found strength to encourage others who have gone through similar things, and I thank God for the strength in that, because for a long time I didn't have much strength at all. So this is 2 Corinthians chapter 1 verses 3 and 4. Blessed be God, even the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and the God of all comfort, who comforteth us in all our tribulation, that we may be able to comfort them which are in any trouble, by the comfort wherewith we ourselves are comforted of God. And then there were a couple of verses about widows that I thought, there's John 14:18. I will not leave you comfortless, I will come to you. Psalm 147:3. He healeth the broken in heart and bindeth up their wounds. And then John 16:22. And ye now therefore have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart shall rejoice, and your joy no man taketh from you. So that's it for this video. I hope this encourages you if you're going through looking for videos of how people came to start homeschooling. There are just a million reasons why people do it, and this was just my reason, my various reasons. And I hope that those, if you're going through grief and trying to homeschool through grief, that maybe these verses help you and this story helps you. Have a blessed day, and I'll talk to you again soon.